In this lesson, you are going to learn how to use layer masks, which are used to control the visibility or transparency of a layer. And it's okay if you do not understand what that means. You're going to understand once you visually see how they work. Masks in After Effects are paths or outlines used to show or hide parts of a layer. Imagine having a piece of paper and a pair of scissors, and you're just cutting out shapes from the paper. That is creating a mask. So everything on the inside of the mask path or outline is being revealed. You can see the contents of the layer inside of the mask path, and everything on the outside of the mask path is being hidden. You can also subtract or invert a mask, so everything inside of the mask path is going to be transparent and everything on the outside will be visible. So now you can place things below the layer and it will show through that hole in your paper. Pretty cool. You have a photo or graphic and you want to take something from that photo or graphic and use it in the composition that you're creating. Well, masks are a great way to cut things out, and the mask moves with the layer, so you can move things around and place it wherever you want. You create masks in After Effects the exact same way that you create shapes. So you are going to use the shape tools and the pen tool to create masks. The difference is, when you want to create a mask, you first select the layer and then you select a shape tool or a pen tool to create the mask. When you want to create a shape, you deselect all the layers and then you select a shape tool or a pen tool to create a shape. So I have this graph paper layer selected. I'm going to go to the shape tool. I'll select the ellipse tool and notice my cursor. It's got a little square with a circle in the center. That's indicating that I'm about to create a mask. If I did not have a layer selected and I selected the ellipse tool, my cursor would have a little star next to it, indicating that I'm about to create a shape. The graph paper layer is selected. I'm going to go to the shape tool, choose the ellipse tool. Next to my cursor, I see a little square with a little circle inside, indicating that I'm about to create a mask. I'm going to click and draw out a circle or ellipse, just like a shape. If I press the Shift key, that'll make a perfect circle. I can hold the space bar and move the mask around. When I let go, I just created a mask on that layer. That dark green outline with the points, that is a mask path. Everything inside of the mask path or outline is revealing or showing the layer's content. Everything on the outside of the mask path is hiding the layer's content. To create masks using the pen tool, I'm going to select the layer first, go to the pen tool, keyboard shortcut G. I'm going to click to add a point. One point is called a vertex. Multiple points are called vertices. So I'm just clicking. I'm creating a mask path or outline. Now notice the first point that I added. It looks a little different from all the others. It's a little bit bigger. That first point is known as the first vertex. Also notice next to my cursor, there's a little circle. That circle is telling me that when I click this point, it is going to close the mask path. So in most cases, when you create masks, you're going to want to actually close the path. So I'm going to click, and once I do, the mask has been created. So this mask path or outline, everything inside is showing the contents of the layer. Everything on the outside of the mask path is hiding the contents of that layer. Once you close a path, to create additional paths on the same layer, just make sure the layer is selected. Just click, adding points. You can see I'm getting to the end. I can see a little circle on my cursor. Click, I just closed another path. Create a new path, all on the same layer. And this is a great way when you want to create kind of hand-drawn animation styles. Cool. To show all masks in the Layers panel, just tap the keyboard shortcut M. So M for masks. And if you tap the letter M 2 times, so MM, that'll show all of the masks and the mask properties. Tap M again to collapse all. So I'll tap M to show all of the masks. If I select a mask, you'll see the bounding box for that mask. If you want to change the color, just click on the color swatch and you can choose any color you want for the mask. If for some reason you do not see the mask's bounding box, there is a little icon below the comp window called Toggle Mask and Shape Path Visibility. So if that is not highlighted, it's going to hide the mask paths. Click it again to show. And if your vision is going like mine, you can increase the size of the path handles. If you go to the top menu, Settings, go to General. The very first setting in General, you can increase the size of the path point and handle size. The maximum size is 15. When you click that, you'll see everything gets a lot bigger. Next to each mask, there's a little drop-down menu. These are the blend modes for the masks, or the mask modes. These are going to determine how the masks and the layers interact with each other. By default, the mask modes are set to add. So when a mask is set to add, everything inside of the mask path or the outline is being revealed. And if I want the opposite, where I punch a hole through the layer so everything inside of the mask path is transparent and showing the layers below, well then I'm going to change the mask modes from add to subtract. I just punched a hole through the graph paper and I'm seeing the cardboard layer below. This is the exact same thing if you had a piece of paper in your hand with cardboard below it. If you took your scissors and cut a hole in the graph paper, once you cut out the hole, you saw the cardboard below. If I solo that graph paper layer by just ticking the box under the solo column, so this is only showing the graph paper layer and hiding all of the other layers, you can see the transparency grid indicating that everything inside of the mask path is transparent. So anything I place below this layer is going to show through the mask, including videos. One thing I want to point out, subtract mode and ticking the inverted box does the exact same thing. But when you have multiple masks, you can only select the inverted box on one mask at a time. Otherwise, it doesn't do anything. So if I just do it on one, it's going to invert that mask, but you can only do it one at a time. So if you want to invert multiple masks on the same layer, you're going to use subtract mode. You can animate masks using any of the mask properties. Remember, when you see a stopwatch in After Effects, that means that you can animate that property. In most cases, you're probably going to be animating the mask path. I'll drag the CTI to the beginning of the timeline. I'm going to click on the stopwatch next to mask path. That'll add a keyframe. I'll move the CTI to the 1 second mark. I'm going to click on the diamond this time to add a second keyframe. It's at the same value as the first, so there's no change. That means there's no animation. And I'll make the change here in the center. To do so, with my selection tool, keyboard shortcut V, I'm just going to press the Shift key so I can drag out a selection over both the top two vertices. And now, when I change the shape, so it created that third keyframe, drag the CTI back, and now I've got a little dancing eye. Now for a couple of real-world mask path animations. First, I'm going to add some text. I'll click on T for the type tool. I'll click. I'm just going to type out my name. I'll center it to the composition using the Align panel. I'll just click to center it horizontally and vertically. With the text layer still selected, I'm going to select the pen tool, keyboard shortcut G. I know that I'm about to create a mask. 1, because I had the layer selected first, and 2, I can see that little square with the circle in the center. I'll click to add a vertex or a point. I'll click again. This time, I'm just going to drag a little to create a curve. I'm going to click, drag to create a curve. Click, drag, click, drag, click. So this is an open path because I did not close the path by clicking on this last vertex. This is one use case of when an open path is pretty useful and kind of fun. I'll twirl open the text layer. I'm going to twirl open text. Then I'm going to twirl open path options. There's a little drop-down menu. When I click this, it's going to show me any mask that I've created on this layer. And once I click on mask 1, like magic, the text is now aligned on that path. And if I use this first margin property, if I just change the value, how cool is that? The text is following the shape of that mask path. Pretty cool, huh? And all of these properties can be animated. If you want to reverse and have the text go on the other side, just turn on reverse path. You can make it perpendicular, which is going to give you a different look. You can force alignment. You can edit the text. You can change the size. You can do everything you could with a text layer. And it's just following this path, and you can fully animate it. There's also a more options below, which is going to give you some additional. So you can just animate it by word if you want, not just by character. Pretty cool stuff. That's with an open path. Let's do one more example. I'm going to delete the path. I'll select the layer, tap M. I'm going to delete the path by tapping the delete key. I'll make sure it's still aligned. I want to create a mask, so I know that I need to select the layer first. I'm going to select the text layer. I'm then going to go to the shape tool and choose the ellipse tool. I'll click, hold the shift key to make a perfect circle. And I'm just going to create a circle right in the center of the composition. I'll twirl open the text layer, twirl open the text group, twirl open path options, click the dropdown, and select the mask that I just created. And now we have text following the circle. Now the text is a little big, so we'll go to the Properties panel and just adjust the text. And now I can use the first margin to make the text go around and around the circle. How cool is that? If I want it on the outside of the circle, I'm just going to change the reverse path to on, and now it's going around the circle on the outside. The last example is something that I do all the time, and that is animating mask paths to show and hide text. It just creates a simple text animation. I'm going to select the text layer, go to the shape tool, and select the rectangle tool. I'm going to click to draw out a mask. A little bonus tip. Notice when you start creating the mask, everything gets hidden, but sometimes you want to see what you're doing so you can draw out the mask correctly. If you tap the letter N while you're drawing out a mask, it'll change the mask mode to none. So now you can see what you're drawing on to make sure that you cover everything. So I'm just going to make sure that the mask covers all of the text, and I'll let go to create the mask. And I can change the mask mode back to add now. I'll twirl open the mask layer. I'm going to make sure that the CTI is at the beginning of the timeline. I'm going to click the stopwatch next to mask path to add a keyframe. I'll move the CTI forward in time to the 1 second mark. I'm going to just double click on the mask. So I'll double click. That's going to create a bounding box. You see those little handles. Now I'm just going to click and drag in. So I want the animation to go from left to right. So I'm just hiding the text. And when I let go, it's going to create that second keyframe. When I drag the CTI back, you're going to see the motion. Tap the space bar, and we just created kind of a typewriter style animation. If I want to reverse that, I'm going to select the keyframes, Command or Control C to copy it to my clipboard. I'll move forward in time a little bit, paste, Command or Control V. With the keyframe selected, I'll tap F9 to easy ease, tap N to set the work area, so now I can loop the preview over and over again. Easy as that. Well, if you thought layer masks were cool, wait until you get to the next lesson where you learn about track mats.